Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the MA2000 Quantitative Reasoning course. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Michael Weeman. I go by Mike or Mr. Weeman, whichever you prefer. What I'd like to do in this first housekeeping video is welcome you to the course, as well as tell you a little bit about myself. We're going to talk about My Math Lab. That is going to be the portal in which you complete roughly about 90% of all the total points possible inside the class. That's where you're going to be completing your homework quizzes, your midterm exam, as well as your final exam for the course. So we'll talk about getting registered into My Math Lab, as well as the completion of the assignments and the schedule thereof over the next 11 weeks. We'll talk about the discussion forums. There are a total of 6 discussion forums inside this course that are graded in weeks 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The other weeks are methods to earn attendance and for participation inside that. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the time zone requirements. Everything from NAU's perspective is based upon either Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time. So if, say, for example, if you live in the East Coast or on the West Coast, that you'll need to adjust accordingly as far as any time differential. So we'll address that here in this presentation. We'll talk about Honor Lock. Your final exam in this particular course is a proctored assessment, and you're going to have an opportunity from the week one's perspective to go in and practice the use of Honor Lock. So we'll talk about that here inside the presentation. You will also have a 5-point assignment that is what it's referred to as the Math Resource Center assignment. You'll go into a separate class portal. I'll demonstrate that here inside the presentation, that you will go in and complete a quiz inside of the Math Resource Center. So we'll talk about that from week one's perspective. We'll address the late assignment policy. Hopefully after this presentation, you feel a little bit more comfortable relative to the late assignment policy. I'm very flexible in terms of life happens events inside the course, and we'll address that. We'll talk about also on your plate for week one, the week one discussion forums. It's an introduction to where you'll be able to engage with your other adult learners as well as the instructor inside the course, and then my availability during the week. So without further ado, let's dive into this. Okay, as I stated before, I go either by Mike or Mr. Weeman. My contact information is listed there. The best way to get a hold of me during the 11 weeks of the course is by way of email. That is my preferred method in terms of communication. And I benchmark getting back and forth with you within 24 hours. Now, there will be an exception Saturday afternoon as well as Sunday as far as my involvement in the course, and we'll talk about that later on. But email's the best way to get a hold of you. You'll get your quickest response there. I do have a Google phone that's listed there, this 816-867-0401. I will tell you that is a Google phone number, and it will go directly to voicemail. So if you leave a voicemail, I will return a call accordingly from that perspective. But again, email is the fastest way to get a hold of me in terms of any questions or concerns. You can also use the Q&A forum. That is a forum inside the class. However, if you post something in there that says, hey, why is week one score so low, that type of thing, I can't address grade concerns inside of that respective forum. So please keep that in mind. If it's a general question about the class, feel free to use that as well. A little bit of background about me. I've been married over 27 years to my wife, and I have a 15, soon to be 21-year-old daughter, joking relative to that. But at the time of the recording, 27 years and then a 15-year-old daughter. I've been teaching math and computer science for over 27 years, either face-to-face, hybrid, or in the online environment. I have very deep passion in terms of teaching. It's something that I truly enjoy, try to engage with students to see the real world validity in terms of both the math and computer science fields that are out there. So that's a little bit about me there. Also been with NAU as of the time of this recording for over 13 years. I'm a huge fan of the Kansas City Chiefs as well as St. Louis Cardinals. That's my favorite football and baseball team. Also follow pretty much any other sport that's out there. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but pretty much any other sport, I pretty much can talk your ear off in terms of statistics and math and following those respective sports. I'm also, as a math nerd, a huge fan of Texas Hold'em. Haven't won my $1 million yet. I'm not a professional poker player, but if I do hit it big, you may see an announcement out there at some particular point. But I doubt that very seriously. I do it more as fun. I'm not any professional, and I get to a certain amount. If I lose that, then I'm done, and I just call it entertainment. If I win, hey, so be it. So again, that's a little bit about me. And we'll be engaging, especially in the week 1 discussion forum, to get to know each other throughout the course. So, all right, the first thing you're going to want to do inside of the class portal is to get enrolled into My Math Lab. Now, something I want you to keep in mind in terms of My Math Lab, probably about 2 weeks before the class started, if you check your national.edu email, the course code has already been sent to you. If you enrolled in a class, you should receive that respective course code for use in that. It's included as part of the tuition. You do not, on the Pearson website, need to go out and purchase or spend any additional money. It is part of your tuition. If for some reason you're retaking the class, you need a new access code every time that you take the respective quantitative reasoning class. So if this is your second attempt, you should have received a second course ID or access code to key that in. If for some reason you have not received that, you need to contact your advisor. Unfortunately, from a faculty perspective, I have nothing to do with access codes. Those are generated via email, and it's a series of characters that are out there. In terms of enrollment, please take a look at, there is an announcement underneath the announcements page that says MML, that stands for My Math Lab. If you take business stats, you're going to see the acronym or the abbreviation of MSL standing for My Stat Lab. We use My Math Lab inside the course, but it talks about enrolling in it. This video that's there goes through the process of enrolling into My Math Lab, as well as utilizing it. How do you key it answers is explained inside the video, as well as seeing the feedback on any respective homework, quiz, midterm exam, or final exam inside the course. So this is a very helpful video. It's underneath your announcements page, and I strongly recommend you taking a look at that here within the first week. This should be available to you inside the class portal. Okay, week 5 is going to roll around, and you will have a midterm examination at that particular point. All of the assignments inside the class, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, will open the very first day of class and will remain open through the very last day of class, Sunday at either 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time, relative to when you're taking this course. So during the 11 weeks, all of the assignments are open. They can be completed without penalty. So there is no, it's got to be done within 2 weeks. Now, the exception to that is the discussion forums. Discussion forum posts must be done in the week they are assigned. And the only exception to that is an ADA accommodation, but they never open early. If you're under some ADA accommodation, you would have received or will receive an email from me stating that how to handle any extended window that the university is providing as part of your ADA accommodation. But if you're not underneath any ADA accommodation, they open at the beginning of the week, they close at the end of the week. We'll talk more about that as well. But any other assignment, 11 weeks, it's open the entire class. So midterm exam is typically taken around week 5. If you decide to take it week 4, that's fine. You have through week 11 to take that. The midterm exam is only one attempt, and on other quizzes, it's actually up to 3, but the midterm is only one attempt on that assessment. Once you start it, you do need to complete it, but the midterm exam is not proctored. The only thing inside this course that is proctored is the final exam, and we'll talk more about that later on inside the presentation. Final exam, this is the one that does use honor lock. There will be a practice test that you can start week 1, and you actually have the full 11 weeks to make sure any hardware, software, etc. is working relative to honor lock. And we'll talk more about that here in this presentation, and you'll see it in subsequent presentations as well. But final exam is only a one attempt as well. Once you start it, you have to complete it. So do keep that in mind. Weeks 2, 4, 7, 8, and 9 have a graded discussion for them in there. Each of them are worth 15 points apiece. Now, I want you to get acclimated in terms of, from a time management perspective, how things work relative to a discussion forum. If we're in week 1, discussion forums open 12 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time in that week. You're on graded forums in these 6, there actually will be 6 of them. 5 of them, it's worth 15. We'll talk about week 6. It's kind of an exception there for this particular course. But you will have an initial post that is due by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time, depending on when you're taking the course. You will have a problem post, and we'll talk about that later on here. And you will have a response. 8 for the initial, 1 for the problem post, 6 for the response. 8 plus 1 plus 6 gets you to 15 points. So they are not opened early unless you're underneath an ADA accommodation. They are not past Sunday of that particular week. So in week 1, we do week 1's discussion forum. Week 2, we do week 2's discussion forum, and so on. So if you send me an email, say, Mike, Mr. Weeman, hey, I forgot about doing week 1's discussion, or it would be week 1's not graded, but from week 2's perspective, you send me something week 3, hey, can you reopen? The answer to that question is no. Regardless of the reason, any life happens, events, etc., they are attendance-based, so they cannot be submitted late. They're only open in the week they are assigned. So please keep that in mind. All right. So as I made mention, initial posts are going to be worth 8 points. You'll see in each of the weeks when we have a graded forum, in these housekeeping videos, I'm going to explain what that initial post involves. It's typically going to have 2 components that it's going to be assessed by. And you'll see that inside the subsequent housekeeping videos. Not only do you have to explain how you are, what the actual answer is, you will also need to explain how you got to that answer, i.e., typically in a math world, we call that show your work or show the corresponding explanation. Answers are important. Getting to a correct answer in the realm of math is very important, but how you got to the answer, that's where it becomes real world focused in terms of being able to explain and getting a higher level of understanding of that concept. So not only are you assessed for the correct answer on that initial post, you also will be assessed how you explain how to get to that answer. Now, time management perspective, this is something that's very important, and this is not up for negotiation. Unless underneath an ADA accommodation, I address that via email with you if that falls underneath your umbrella. If the initial post is not there by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time, you don't get any credit for it. Here's the deal. In a realm of discussions, I know a lot of us don't procrastinate, right? Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing Charlie Brown's instructor going, wah, 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 wah. But here's the deal. If everybody's posting on a Sunday night trying to get everything done, you're not having a discussion forum. What you're doing is you're just going in there, earning the points, you're not having a quality discussion in that instance. So it is required that by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time, that initial post must be completed. I typically on Friday morning will go out and evaluate your initial post. So you're going to see that feedback by Friday morning on how you were assessed that particular item. And in the subsequent weeks, when we get to a graded forum, i.e. the next housekeeping video that we get week 2, I'll show you the rubric, how it's going to be assessed, so that there's no confusion or ambiguity in terms of that particular item. But again, that initial post, it has to be there by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time. You will also have, as part of your initial post process, you'll do a second initial post, and that is going to be a homework problem post. What you're going to do, if it's in week 2, you're going to go into your homework assignment for week 2 inside of My Math Lab, and you're going to post a problem. If you do it by Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Mountain Standard Time, 1 point earned. You're not solving it by Thursday. By Thursday, we then have a collection of problems that a student has posted. By Sunday, you go and respond to another student's problem, showing not only the correct answer, but how you got to the answer. That is worth 6 points. And that you have until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time in the week that it is assessed. So that is the reason for that requirement on Thursday. If everybody's posted by Thursday, then you have 3 days to either respond to another student's homework problem, or I typically Monday through Thursday will go out there and post homework problems. So if there's a low enrollment class, you still have the opportunity to do that homework problem response out there. So the 8 + 1 + 6 gets you to the 15 points that are possible in that discussion forum. All right. One thing to keep in mind, if you wait until Thursday night, let's say it's 11:58 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time on Thursday night of week 2, and lo and behold, it shows up in the class portal as 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, it's a 0. Do not procrastinate or wait until 5 minutes before it's due to get the initial post. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get that initial post in. Time management is the responsibility of the adult learner. So get that, do it Monday or Tuesday. If there's questions on it, send me an email in terms of what's involved with that initial post that's out there. So if for some reason that post shows up on the class portal as 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time on Friday, it does not count. You will not earn points for it. Even if you send me the email, let's say it's Friday of week 2, later in the morning, and you see that a 0 has been assessed on it. Mike, it was there at, I swear I started it at, 11:55. D2L, the class portal, is the official timekeeper. If it says that it posted at 12 a.m., 12:01 a.m. on Friday of week 2, it's not going to count for points. Do not procrastinate. Get that initial post in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, earlier on Thursday night. Again, I understand time constraints in life happens, events, and I hear a lot of times from adult learners, hey, the weekends are the only time that I've got to do homework. Unfortunately, NAU does have the requirement of the initial post in by Thursday, and we can't have discussions if everybody's doing their thing on Sunday night. So it's required. Unfortunately, it's not up for negotiation in terms of modifying that respective requirement. So keep in mind, for the quality of postings, it's not only the explanation of it and the correct answer that's going to get you to that full credit. As we progress on the weeks that have graded forms, I will show you the rubric So again, there's no confusion in terms of scoring on those items. Okay, one additional thing as well on posts. You have to post first before you see everybody else's. What I want you to do, and again, if it's not 100% right, that's okay. I want you to make the attempt versus looking at somebody else's and basically mimicking what somebody else did. I want you to put forth the effort in terms of that. If there's questions on it, don't hesitate to send me the email. But all of the graded forms inside the class is based upon that you have to post first. In other words, you're not going to see other adult learners post until you post something out there. Now, don't do a ... or do posting for attendance or that alike. If I see those out there, I will go and delete them. I'm going to talk more about that as well. ... posting for attendance do not count for attendance. They will get deleted and it will not count for attendance. You do need to put forth the effort inside the class portal in terms of the quality of those respective responses. So you can't do placeholders to go and see everybody else's. I mean, you would see the other posts. However, it's not going to count for points, nor will it count for attendance out there. Okay, we just talked about that. They will be deleted by me. I will follow that with an email to you with that corresponding action, but doing a posting for attendance is not going to get you attendance. So you do need to put forth the effort in terms of those posts as you go through. All right. Week 6 is a little bit different than our traditional weeks 2, 4, 7, 8, and 9. This one is going to be a writing assignment, and it's not going to be a matter of something you can do in 5, 10, 15 minutes. It is going to be some research that involves Senate committees and doing a calculation, as well as some additional research, Google searches that are going to be involved. I always like to kind of give everybody an omniscient or all-knowing view before starting a course, so that week 6, kind of a reminder out there, hey, this one's going to be a little bit more involved. This one is the initial post, or the writing assignment, is worth 16 points. I'm going to go to the next slide because that's going to state what I've got here. Initial post by Thursday, the writing assignment. This will open Monday of week 6. So between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you will need to allocate the bandwidth of the time to get that initial post in. Just like the other graded forums, if it's there 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time on a Friday morning, it's not going to count for points. So please keep that in mind. This one, you will respond to other peers and will be worth 2 points apiece. Again, I will show the rubric that ties to that assignment there, but all other quality responses in the other weeks are still followed accordingly. So again, there's going to be a housekeeping video that's going to demonstrate the forum each and every week. I strongly encourage you to take a look at those, because I'm going to give some hints, tips, that alike inside those particular videos to take a look at. All right. Now in weeks 1, 3, 5, 10, and 11, they are only earned for attendance. There are no points earned in those weeks on those respective discussion forums. Keep in mind, you're doing it from an attendance perspective. It does not require an initial post and 2 quality responses. If you're in need of attendance from week 1, everybody needs it from week 1, sorry, but from week 3's perspective, you do not need to post 3 times out there. If you want to, or more than 3, feel free to do so. That's perfectly fine. But regardless whether you post 1, 3, or 10 times out there, you're not going to earn points associated with those particular weeks. So please keep that in mind. There's only 6 weeks that they're graded: weeks 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 relative to the course. All right. Time zone. Everything from NAU's perspective is based upon either Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time. So if you do a Google search and say you reside in New York or you reside in California, and you want to know, okay, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time is what in my time zone? There is World Time Buddy. If you do a search on it, plug in Rapid City, South Dakota, that's home base, post in where you're located or a city near where you're located, and see the time differential. So that's going to be important in terms of, okay, you're trying to make your initial post week 2 at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time. Okay, I'm on the East Coast, so I have until 1:59 a.m. on Friday to get it in. Conversely, if you're on the West Coast, that means 10:59 p.m. on Thursday. So the adult learner is responsible for any time differential. So again, same deal, week 2 on Friday, you come in and say, Mike, I thought I was doing it at, I live in California and I did it at 11:50 p.m. in my time zone. It's not going to count for points. The adult learner is responsible for any time differential inside the class. All right, honor lock practice test. As I made mention earlier, inside of the presentation, the final exam is a proctored assessment inside the course. So in other words, what is going to happen is when you go to take the final exam, it's going to be password protected. You don't come to the instructor and say, hey, Mike, Mr. Weiner, what's the password to get into the final? The answer is you must use honor lock to take the final exam inside the course. Now, via this first assignment, you're going to have an announcement out there that says assignment 1.1 honor lock practice test. There is a video link that's there that will show a video demonstration of me going through the step-by-step on how to use honor lock. Couple things that are important. Only browser that can be used for honor lock is Google Chrome. You can't use Firefox, Edge, Safari, any other third-party browser. It must be Google Chrome. Google Chrome is supported on 99% of all operating systems that are out there. It will run on a Windows operating system. It will run on a Mac operating system. It will also run on a Chromebook. And I'm not 100% sure on Unix off the top of my head, but most students, I'd say 99% of everybody that's taking a course, they're utilizing one of those 3 that are out there. So you will need to use Google Chrome. When you do this honor lock practice test, and the video is going to talk about this as well, you cannot have multiple monitors hooked up to your device. So let's say you're working on a laptop and you have a separate monitor attached to it, just simply unplug it. You can only have one visual attached to honor lock while it's running. You will need a state ID or your driver's license to authenticate to honor lock, and you will practice that inside of this honor lock practice test. You will also need to make sure that your microphone is working as well as a camera is hooked up. No, you do not need to purchase the one that's listed as a required as far as the camera goes. If you have a working camera on your device, you test it during week 1, you do not need the additional expense of the one that's listed inside of the required components inside the course. The only thing you need is access to MyMathLab inside the course. So you're going to follow through the step. You'll actually take that device, do a room scan, a 360 room scan. You'll practice that. And then it will then have you go into MyMathLab and you will open up the honor lock practice test. It'll be a series of 6 questions that you will complete to earn those, or 5 or 6 questions inside there to earn those respective 5 points. So follow those instructions. If you have questions on it, please contact me. You have the full 11 weeks to get any technical issues resolved. And do keep in mind, it's not at the end of the course, you come up and say, hey, I can't get honor lock to work on Saturday or Sunday of week 11. That's why we started at the very beginning of the course to ensure you work out any technical hardware, software, internet issues associated with honor lock, because the university requires your final exam to be assess. So this gives you practice and 11 weeks to work out any technical issues associated with utilizing HonorLock inside the class. And again, if there's questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I can clarify anything that's listed there. All right. Now, the Math Resource Center. Math Resource Center, this assignment does not reside inside your class portal. Let me show you here. I'm going to exit out of my PowerPoint presentation and show you what's going on here. This is our quantitative reasoning course. Again, I'm going to come back in here and you'll see that as we progress along. Let me just a second here. Let's move this over. Okay. So let me open up, get back to the home page after you've logged in. Okay. So when going and taking the HonorLock practice test, you do not, again, that quiz does not reside inside your class portal. It resides in a separate class portal that you should have access to called the Math Resource Center. How do you get there? Well, you can either click the 9 squares up here, and inside your class list, there should be an entry that says the Math Resource Center, this MRC 007. That is the mechanism to get into the Math Resource Center. Odds are, if you have this widget that's on your main screen, you can also enter that way as well. So either which way, get you into the Math Resource Center. It's a separate class portal than the MA2000 class you're currently enrolled in. So you'll click Math Resource Center. Once you get in there, you're going to notice this tile or this link over here that says Assignment 1.2 Math Resource Center. You'll go ahead and click that guy. And then depending on when you're actually taking your respective class, you're going to have an entry that says Assignment 1.2 Math Resource Center. This is the link that will open up the Math Resource Center quiz. This will consist of a total of 10 questions that you will go in and complete. This assignment is only open the first 3 weeks of the course. So in other words, you have week 1, week 2, and week 3 to get these completed. Now, I have to do as the math faculty lead, transfer the scores from the Math Resource Center over to your grade book. So this is not instantaneous. This is done once a week. And that is also announced inside the class portal that I will do that transfer to the to your grade book, basically Monday of week 2, Monday of week 3, Monday of week 4. This is only worth 5 points, should not take you long to do. And this quiz can be taken in an unlimited amount of times as well. So if you take it the first time, you only get a 4 out of 5, you can go in and retake it to maximize the score to get up to the 5 points on it. So that's the process to get into the Math Resource Center quiz. You'll click on whatever links associated with your current class, open that guy up, take the quiz, complete it. And that's how you earn the 5 points on that given assignment. Let me go back to the PowerPoint here. All right. Now, let's talk late assignment policy. From this class, I try to make it as flexible as possible for 90% of the total points possible. It's roughly 91 inside of MA2000. But homework quizzes, practice midterm exam, practice final, HonorLock practice test. Open the first day of class, remains open through Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or Mountain Standard Time of week 11. So during that 11 weeks, you on a homework assignment, you can go in and out of that homework assignment as many times as needed to maximize the scores. Quizzes are a little bit different. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But I don't deduct 10% or 30% or 50%. Too much to mess with. 11 weeks, you have the full flexibility to complete the assignments. Now, as I give you the Life Happens events time, it is your responsibility to ensure it all gets done by the end of the class. If you come to me Sunday of week 11 and say, Mike, Mr. Weeman, I just ran out of time. I didn't get all the homework and the quizzes done. Sorry. Time management, is your responsibility as an adult learner inside of the respective course. So while I do empathize with it, I know we all have a lot on our plates, in that you do need to get the work done within the 11 weeks. I'm as flexible as possible. Again, existing late NAU policy is only 2 weeks afterwards. I'm giving you the full 11 weeks. So I, again, try to make it as flexible, but I'm not going to be sympathetic or empathetic come the end of the class telling me, hey, I just ran out of time. I gave you 11 weeks, and that's the way it's going to be responded to on it. So I don't deduct any late penalty. The only exception, and we talked about it earlier, is the discussion forums. Discussion forum posts have to be done in the week they are assigned. But keep in mind, discussion forum posts are only roughly about 9% of the overall grade. So if for some reason you miss one, say week 2, and you miss an initial post that's only worth 9 and the homework post problem worth 9 points, it's 9 out of 1,000. It's a very minimal overall part of the grade. So again, you have full control of 91% of the overall score during the 11 weeks of the class. So do keep that in mind. All right. Final exam does only open week 11. Now, if for some reason you want to take it early, hey, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, and I want to take it during week 10. Send me an email. Yes, by all means, I'll let you take it early. If you come in and it's 11 o'clock on a Sunday night and you say, hey, I don't have enough time to take the final exam, the late part is not extended. So week 11, that final exam has to be completed between 12 a.m. Monday, Mountain Daylight Time, Mountain Standard Time, through 11:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on Sunday. So you have that entire full week to get that final exam. And I do not allow late submissions after that point. Again, give you full 11 weeks on pretty much everything else. Final exam has to be taken week 11. That is a requirement, unless you want to do it early. Early is fine, late is not. Okay, assignment 1.2. This is the exception I talked about earlier. This is only open 3 weeks. Regardless of the ADA accommodation that you might be on, this is only open week 1, week 2, and week 3 inside the class. All the others, with the exception of discussion forums, those remain open. Reason being, it's only open the first 3 weeks. There is manual intervention that I, as math faculty lead, have to go in and transport the scores from the Math Resource Center into your class portal gradebook. But again, this is only worth 5 points, very minimal part of the overall grade. Okay, graded discussion forums, we talked about that before, only accepted in the week they are assigned. Initial post, homework problem post, those 9 points, or week 6, that's 16 out of 20, has to be done on or before 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time on Thursday. Regardless of the reason, unless under ADA accommodation that I've been informed by the university, otherwise, there is no come to me Friday and say, hey, can I submit it the initial post late? The answer to that is no. So again, you need to make sure in this course that you are building time management inside the class. Again, I empathize with life happens events, but again, you are responsible as an adult learner to practice proper time management. Okay, week 1, your first discussion forum. This is an introduction to where you'll be able to introduce yourself to the class, as well as interact with your other peers and the instructor inside the course. The initial post is the only thing that is required. As I made mention, if it's not graded, you do not need to make a total of 3 posts. If you want to do 1, 3, or 10, or 100 responses out there, that's perfectly fine. But week 1 does not earn you points inside the class. So I will respond to anybody's initial post during the week. So again, that's just the icebreaker, get us acclimated with each other. I will respond to everybody's initial post during week 1 that's out there. So again, it's not a graded one, but I encourage you to go out there and make initial posts so that we get to know each other on an informal basis there. And then last but not least, my availability during the week. My benchmark to get back with you is within 24 hours. Typically, it's going to be faster. Don't freak out if you're getting responses at 4:30 in the morning. I'm a very early riser. It's a very quiet time inside my house during the week that I can go in, get my class facilitation items done, and I do check emails throughout the day. So my benchmark to get back to you is within 24 hours. Now, after I do my facilitation on Saturday morning, I'm usually out of pocket starting the rest of the day, Saturday as well as Sunday. So sometimes I check emails and correspondence over the weekend. A lot of times I don't. So if you send something on a Sunday, you may not get a response until Monday morning. As you as an adult learner have the flexibility during the week to get things done, Sunday is my time away from online facilitation as well as my full-time job that I currently have. So again, if you send me something late on a Saturday night or Sunday, you may not get a response until Sunday. Contact options we talked about at the beginning. Best way to get a hold of me is by email. Email is going to get you the quicker response. You also have the Google phone number option as well. It does go directly to voicemail, as we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. Have a great first week. Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks.